Hello everybody, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So here we are. There's just 3 days left in this series that we're running for the month of December, which is the Progressive Rock Solo Artist Album Wars. And we have what I would call the 29th battle. So this is the semifinal. So this is the first semifinal. What we did is Ben picked 32 bands. He's put them in battles throughout the month, and here we are at the finals. We are in the semifinals, so they're down to just 4 bands, or actually 4 solo artists left. And 2 of them today against each other, both originally from the same band from Genesis. And my job is to have listened to both albums, which I have. One of them I've listened to a million times. The other one, quite a bit over the last little while. Both very good albums, and both of them from the same band, like I said. So we have Peter Gabriel's Security, and he's up against Spectral Mornings from Steve Hackett today. So I had a feeling that Ben was going to throw these two together, since they're the only 2 members of Genesis of the 5 that were in the tournament left. Both good. These are good albums. The Spectral Mornings, I've now listened to maybe 5-6 times over the last couple months. It's a solid album with lots of interesting stuff on it. There's a fair bit of acoustic stuff on here that's really good. There's a couple of the opening track, of course, very catchy. The vocalist is good, pretty strong. Lots of good guitar stuff on here. There's some stuff that I wouldn't have expected to be on here too. Like there's one track that's almost kind of country-ish. But overall, I find this to be a good album. I don't know if I like it as much as I liked Voyage of the Acolyte, which was the first one I ever owned. It's hard to tell when you just get something and you've only had it for a short period of time how it's going to stack up over time against other albums that you've had from them for a while. But still, really solid album. And like I said, the acoustic parts are the best parts, I think the best parts on this album. And he is, one of the acoustic guitar gods almost, right? So, anyways, really good album. He's up against Peter Gabriel's Security here. Now, this is the first album by Peter Gabriel I ever owned. I want to say that I got it in the same year that it came out in 1982. But I'm not quite sure when I got the actual English version of it. The first one I got was a German version of the album, which I grew to listen to. I listened to it a lot, so much so that I almost preferred when I got to the English part, and I would be trying to remember the lyrics, and all I could remember was the German stuff. It took a while to get it, but I eventually had both albums. And then I gave all my album collection, as many know, to my sister. So then I started collecting CDs when they came out. But at first I was just collecting cassettes. And I had the Security in cassette as well. So I have had it in many different forms. Such a great album with so many good tracks on it. Rhythm of the Heat was one of those original tracks that I really liked a lot. But of course I did like... I Have the Touch, which I still like. I still love that tune. It's so good. Shock the Monkey was really good too, especially because the video was one of the first kind of big selling videos that when MTV came out, it was one of the first really big videos I remember. I remember thinking, wow, this guy really knows how to put a video together. And I loved the album from day one. At that point in time, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I really didn't know at first that Peter Gabriel had been a member of Genesis, because I never listened to Genesis. Even at that point, the only Genesis album that I had any kind of involvement with at any level was the Duke album, which had been playing on the radio, and it doesn't sound anything like Peter Gabriel or anything like the older Genesis. It wasn't until I started following him regular, and then some people say, oh yeah, he used to sing with Genesis, and then that's when I started to learn. And I might have known by this point in time, it's a couple a couple of years into it. Yeah, I might have known by him, but I can't remember 100%. But I remember my initial reaction to Genesis was that were the two albums I got, Wind in the Wuthering and Trick of the Tail, were both Phil Collins. And, so it wasn't right away that I got to hear Peter Gabriel doing the Genesis stuff. But I had already liked Peter Gabriel before I even knew about Genesis. So excellent album. So anyways, I had to choose one of these two albums. And, you know, the Peter Gabriel album's been around for a light year for me, a long time. Always been one of my favorite of his albums. But it's on the burnout side a little bit too. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be able to handle this challenge, because I do like the Steve Hackett album quite a bit too. But I just don't, I think it's come down to, so the Gabriel album's a tiny bit burned out. The Steve Hackett album hasn't really come up to its full fortune. So both of them are a little bit on the slacky side, but I ultimately I had to go with Gabriel because I just love his vocals. I just think some of the songs here are classic. For me, they're classics. And given time, I think Steve Hackett could really challenge here, but he's not going to get that time, unfortunately. So Peter Gabriel will go to the finals to face his challenger, either Rick Wakeman's Journey to the Center of the Earth or, I can't remember the other guy, Alan Halsworth. Alan Halsworth's Metal Fatigue. Those are the two for the second that are still have to battle before we get there. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And please hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of the next video. And any comments about either of these albums, please put it in the comment section below. And we'll see you tomorrow with the other episode and then the finals. So take care. Good night.